Hello, everybody. Method. How do I spell method? Wow. Okay. There we go. Hi. Happy Wednesday. Okay, here. Double pin. Pin comment. Hi. How are we feeling today? Welcome to Wednesday. Today's 30 minutes express. Midweek. I feel like it's a great time to kind of like pick up the pace. Really allow the blood to flow a little bit quicker, fit in a little bit of a shorter session today. I hope everybody's feeling really great. It's super, super sunny here in Brooklyn, in New York. Feeling very good with the vitamin D and feeling all of that. If anybody is new here, we're using a small stability ball. You can always use a towel, you can use a toilet paper roll, you can use a pillow. There's so many different varieties of ball that you can use if you don't have one yet. I always recommend using a ball. It really is a little bit of a game changer when it comes to doing these moves and like flowing through with the ball, and the spherical move of it is very specific to some of these exercises. So if you don't have one and you've been joining a bunch, I recommend getting one, and we can chat with about that if you want to DM me about ways to kind of get the best ball. I have some links in my bio also. Are we feeling pretty good? Did anybody join class yesterday? I don't know. I did. I was here. I love you all. Thank you for showing up and continuing to show up, because I think we're now on month 3 or so and still doing this and still showing up for yourself and for each other. And it's super, super important to really listen to your body always. Remember, that's like the beginning part about this. We're listening to our body first, feeling how you feel. Feeling how you feel today, anything that you're feeling specifically today as opposed to yesterday or the day before. Really kind of like live through that, work through some of that movement too. It's really special when you can listen to your body specifically today. Okay. This is going to be a 30-minute full body series, and we're going to start on our knees today. So you're going to take your ball between your ankles. So find a nice grip on the ball first. We're going to take your knees nice and open here, so you're going to find kind of an open external rotation of the hip. Try not to make it too wide or too tight. We're going to take your hands on top of your pelvis here. Start with a couple of breathing exercises. Take a deep inhale and exhale. So find this moment to ground yourself in your body. Deep inhale. You're expanding your ribs out to the side on the inhale. Exhale, pulling everything back together. Let's do one more. And exhale. Reaching your hands forward through here, we're just going to kind of hinge forward. Your hips are going to pull backwards. You're hinging forward very slightly, pulling your core in and lifting. So it's a very slight hinge forward. Your arms are just going down for the ride and lift. It's mostly about your low abdominals starting to connect. We're treating every exercise as an abdominal exercise, so it's really great to tap into those muscles early on. Remind yourself that they're there, they're connected. They're very strong and very powerful and connected to every other piece of your body. And lift, and let's do one more. And lift. And then we're going to make our way down onto our hands. Your hands are going to be underneath your shoulders. Rolling your shoulders back. Just start to shrug your shoulders. So you're pulling your chest down to the floor, pushing up through the palms and lifting. A tiny shrug here. Lifting it up. Your feet are relaxed, but your heels are squeezed together. So you're still connecting in the core. Tiny shoulder shrugs here. And one more. And we're going to start to rock forward and back. Same thing. We're stretching out in the arms, pulling in the core. Treating this movement very intentionally here. So we're not just allowing just the legs to take over or just the arms to take over. It stems from the core, pulling in and up, pulling your shoulders back. 2 more. And 1 more. Coming back to center, tucking your toes underneath. We're going to start to hover your knees up very slightly and hold. And then drop it down. So your abdominals pull in and up, your shoulders pull back, you're lifting up and holding. It can be the very slightest lift up off the ground also. You don't want to take it up too high so that your back starts to arch or it starts to tuck. You want to keep it in neutral. Learning to stabilize in your shoulders here, keeping a soft elbow. And let's do 2 more. Inhale as you up, and then exhale as you go down. And then we're going to hover your knees up here and hold. Start to squeeze your knees together, open the knees out to the side. Inner thighs, pelvic floor, low abdominals. We're allowing the circulation in your body to start, the heat to build up through every little muscle here, keeping the core engaged. And let's do 3 more. 2 more. And 1 more. Opening the knees up, dropping the knees down, uncurling your toes, sitting out into a child's pose. So you're stretching out through those arms. We're going to slowly start to roll through the spine. We're going to lift up in a slight extension here. So you're lifting up out of the shoulders, keeping that ball squeezed, pulling the core in, and rolling back, stretching out through your fingertips. So we're rolling through here. Your head is going to be the last piece. Hips are forward, lifting up out of the chest. And exhale as you go back. Let's do 1 more. So you're finding your extension for your body. So if you feel like you're starting to dip all the way down and you're not controlled in the core, make it a little bit smaller. That's absolutely okay. And then we're going to roll through and you're going to hold your plank position here. You're going to pull your shoulders back, your hips stay down and forward. And then we're just going to shoulder shrug here, pushing up through the palms. So a tiny shoulder shrug, pushing up through the palms. So you're thinking abdominals, the ball's still squeezed. Let's do 1 more. Pushing up and holding, and then we're going to start to bend your elbows as you bring your chest down to the floor, pushing it up. So I find that my push up here is only about halfway because I feel like my abdominals are still in control, my arms are still working, and I'm not having to yank it all the way up. So find your range of motion there. It could be a little bit smaller, it could be a little bit bigger. 2 more. And 1 more. And we're going to sit all the way back into a child's pose. And then you're going to take your hands out onto the outsides of your mat, and your fingertips are going to face outward. So I'm going to find a really nice wide stance here. My shoulders are back. I'm going to rock side to side. So just pushing into one arm, stretching out of the opposite arm. I want you to control this movement through your obliques. If you really pull your abdominals in and up, you'll feel what I mean there. It's a lot of oblique work going side to side. Your feet can be flat here. You're still squeezing the ball. We're going to come back to center, tucking your toes underneath. We're going to start to hover your knees up and hold, and then drop it down. So your arms are in a little bit of a wider stance. So feel the difference here in terms of shoulder strength and where you're holding your abdominals in. You're pulling your shoulders away from your ears, so you're creating a lot of distance there. Lift up and hold. Drop it down. Let's do 2 more. Lifting it up. Dropping it down. Let's do 1 more. Lifting up here and hold. Start to squeeze the knees. Open the knees. Tiny squeezes. And open. Keeping the abdominals in, keeping a soft elbow. Let's do 3 more, 2 more, and 1 more. Opening the knees up, dropping the knees down. Let's sit back into a child's pose, stretching through your arms. Use this moment to stretch out through your thoracic spine and the back of your neck. And then we're going to start to roll through the spine again. Lifting up here, take your hands underneath your shoulders. We're going into an extension. Pulling the core in, and then stretching out through the spine. So pulling abdominals in first, stretching out through the spine. Shoulders are back and lift. And exhale. Let's do 1 more. And exhale. And then we're going to come out into this modified plank position here. Shoulders are back. We're going to turn your fingers facing kind of on a triangle position here. We're going to shrug your shoulders here. So shrug it down, pushing up through the palms. It's a little bit of a different arm position, a little bit of a different squeeze between the shoulder blades when you shrug it down. Keeping your hips forward, so we're trying to keep this plank position here, so it's a lot of abdominal work. One more. And hover in this position, so you're going to keep the abdominals in, start to bend your elbows out to the side, but they're going at a slight diagonal in towards your body, pushing it up. Bend it down, pushing it up through here. Whew. It's very full body here, still squeezing the ball. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. And lift. 1 more. And lift. And we're sitting back into a child's pose, stretching out through your arms. We're going to start to tuck your toes underneath. We're going to go out into a full plank. So you're going to hover your knees up, stretching out through the top of your head. Your hips are still externally rotated. The ball squeezed between your knees. We're going to press your arms out, keeping your knees hovered here, zipping up through the inner thighs and open up the chest. Bending it back, pressing it out. So you're thinking of squeezing the ball through your inner thighs, pelvic floor, while externally rotating in the hips also. So you really want to open up from your hip joints and not just the knees. Let's do 2 more. 1 more. Let's go all the way out. You're going to hold this position, tiny squeezes and pulses on the ball as you stay lifted up out of the core. Stay really strong and connected here. If you feel like you're losing your form, you can drop down to your knees. And we're going to make our way all the way down to the floor. Squeeze and hold. Start to bend your elbows. We're going to go all the way down. Whew. All right, let's give your arms a little bit of a break. Let's take your hands underneath your head. Your knees are going to go wide, the ball's still between your ankles. So we're going to start with a little bit of a core activation here. So your head stays down, shoulders are dropped. You're going to pull your abdominals into your spine before you lift the knees, and then drop it down. So you're thinking you're pulling your abdominals in towards your spine, you're lifting it up off the floor, and then relaxing your abdominals. 2 more. Pulling the belly button in, and then exhale. Let's do 1 more. Pulling the belly button in, you're going to hover here. Start to pulse your knees up to the ceiling. Drop it down. You're going to do a tiny lift, and then drop it down. So the movement starts from the core. So if your core feels like it's letting go and your back is starting to take over, don't pull the knees up as high up off the floor. Let's lift. And let's do 3 more here. 2 more. 1 more. You're going to lift up and hold. You're going to start to squeeze your knees. Open up out to the side. Tiny squeeze. And open. So the ball, because it's unstable there, you want to try to evenly squeeze on both heels. You're squeezing through the inner thighs and pelvic floor. You should still really heavily feel this in your core as well. Let the head relax. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. And then 1 more. Open up the knees. You can drop the knees down for a second. Pulling in the core again. You're going to hover your knees up just a little bit less than you just did in that prior exercise. And then start to straighten the legs. You're zipping up through the inner thighs. Bend your knees wide as you draw the ball in toward your glutes. So inhale as you go out. Exhale as you come in. And exhale. And let's do 3 more. Zipping it up. And exhale. 2 more. And exhale. And 1 more. And exhale. And then you're going to bend your knees, drop it all the way down. Pulling in the abdominals again. Taking your hands over towards your sides here. So they're kind of in line with your shoulders. We're going to do a slight extension up. So you're going to pull the abdominals in. You're going to find your extension that feels right for you here. And you're going to start to hover your arms up. And you're going to take your hands in towards your side. So you're squeezing your pinkies in towards your thighs, bending the elbows here. So you're just pressing it back and bend, keeping the abdominals in. You'll feel your glutes still working here. You'll feel your triceps. You'll feel your lats. Still looking down towards the floor. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. And then 1 more. And then take your hands above your head, drop your head down for a second. Pulling in the core again. We're going to take your hands in towards your sides. You're going to pull your elbows in here. I want you to stretch your arms out in front of you, bending the elbows in. Stretching it out, bend it in. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. And 1 more. Bend the elbows into your side. You're going to push up into this modified plank, lifting up through the core. Ooh, let's sit all the way back, stretching out into a child's pose, and then slowly start to pull the chin in. We're lifting all the way up here. You can roll your shoulders back. We're going to find this position on top of your knees. We're going to start to reach your hands out in front of you. Let's go into a T here. Take your hands in front of you and then press your arms back. So we're going to pick up the pace just a little bit, create a little circulation, a little momentum here. We're going to find a neutral pelvis, but if at any point you feel like you're arching or your back starts to hurt, you can hover at a slight diagonal here, connecting a little bit more into the core. So you have a couple of choices in terms of positioning here, depending on how your back felt after that extension. And let's do 2 more. And 1 more. And then taking your hands back underneath your shoulders here, we're going to go into a cat and cow stretch. So round all the way up, pulling the core in. Exhale, pulling your shoulders all the way back. Let's round up, pulling the abdominals in, rounding all the way up. And exhale. And 1 more. Rounding all the way up. And then back to center. And then we're going to flip over onto your back. So the ball is still going to stay in between your ankles. And you're going to lay all the way down. So I want you to start by pulling your knees into your chest. You can just give yourself kind of a rock side to side. And then we're going to extend your arms out into a T. So you're going to place your hands out to the side. You're going to start to take your knees into tabletop. Give that ball a slight squeeze through here. You're just going to open your knees slightly out to the side. Pull the knees back together. So in this position, we're trying to find a neutral pelvis here. We're keeping your spine nice and long. And because we did that extension, I want you to really try to keep the chest nice and open, activating the inner thighs, the outer thighs. We're kind of working this whole hip girdle here. And open. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. And 1 more. And then take your legs into parallel. Start to reach your hands up over your head. We're going to take both hands up and over your head through here, stretching out through your fingertips. And then we're going to take them up to the ceiling as you start to curl up, looking towards your abdominals here. And we're going to circle your arms around as you slowly lower back down into the floor. So we're curling up, pulling in the core here, stretching out through your fingertips, keeping a neutral pelvis, circling it all the way around. Let's do 2 more. Really lifting up. Try not to let the neck be the main lift here. It's your abdominals lifting you up. Circle it around. We're going to reverse. Take your hands out to the side. Curl up, looking towards your abdominals. Slowly lower down. Circling it around. Curling up. And all the way down. Let's do 2 more. Curling up and holding here. Really stretching your fingers past your body. All the way down. On this next one, we're going to curl up and hold. You're going to start to do very tiny pulses of the arms. We're going to try not to shift the body at all. The pulses come from behind your shoulder blades. Your abdominals stay in. We're going to start to dip your legs down. You're going to go slowly down, slowly back up. Very tiny here. And lift. And keep going. Keep the abdominals in. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. And 1 more. And pull your knees into your chest so you can rock side to side. And then we're going to roll over onto your side. I'm going to go over onto my right side here. And you're stretching your legs all the way out long. Let's lay all the way down. So you're going to stretch out through this arm. You're going to lift up through the core here. Squeezing the ball. Start to lift your legs up very slightly. And drop it down. So it's a tiny lift of your legs, your inner thighs, your pelvic floor helping this move, your abdominals stay in. Lift it up, drop it down, and let's do 2 more. Keep your breathing going. Keep connecting into the full body here. 1 more. And then we're going to roll back into your back hip. This arm is going to draw up and underneath you. You're going to pull your knees in here and hold. I want you to dip your legs down as this opposite arm lifts up. Pull the knees in. So this supporting arm that's down on the ground, it's doing very, very little here. So it's almost like you can lift that arm up. Let's do 2 more. 1 more. And then you're going to slowly start to twist over to the side, stretch out of the body, and lengthen through here. So we're going to have 2 more opportunities to do this. So pull the abdominals in, rolling into that back hip, using your abdominals to draw your knees in here and hold. We're going to dip it down and lift. Tiny here. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. And 1 more. And then slowly rolling all the way down, stretching out of your body. Really using this length to help you. Let's do 1 more here. Start to roll it back. Draw the knees in here and hold. You're going to go dip and lift. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. We're going to hold. You're going to reach this arm up and over. Hover in this position. Start to grab on underneath your knees. Lift up out of the chest. We're going to roll it back. Lift it up and hold. So we're going right into a rolling like a ball. Rolling through your spine. And lift. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. And 1 more. Good. You can drop your knees. Take a butterfly stretch through here. You can open up. Drop your head down. This is a really nice fluid series that you can kind of roll through. It very nicely taps into one side to the next, and it's really nice twisty flow, so you can kind of allow your body to flow through there. Let's drop the head down one last time here. Okay, let's lay over to the other side. So you're going to take the ball between your ankles. I want you to really elongate out through your legs, elongate out through your upper body. Think of your body in 2 pieces, starting at your belly button, energy out, energy out. Pulling the core in through here. Start to hover your legs up and drop it down. So you're lifting your legs up, hovering and hold. Drop it down. Pulling it in. Let's lift and lower. Try to watch what your feet are doing also to make sure that your toes aren't internally rotating. So you're trying to keep your feet in line with your knees, in line with your hips. Let's do 1 more. And then we're going to roll onto that back hip. You're going to pull your knees in here. We're going to find this position, lifting up through the core. Let's dip the legs down. Dip and lift. Testing the balance of this back arm. You can also try to hover. 2 more. 1 more. And we're going to stretch out through your legs, rolling it all the way down, stretching out through your body, lifting up in the core. So using this moment to really lift up in the core, rolling it back. Let's hold here, dip it down, and lift. Very tiny. So as your knees come in and your arms come down, we're trying to still maintain a neutral pelvis. So try not to tuck, try not to arch here. If you feel like your spine is moving around, you can make the movement a little bit smaller, and then slowly roll all the way down. Stretch out of those legs. Let's do it again, 1 more time. Let's lift it up here and hold, taking this back arm up and over, hovering in this position. Keep the abdominals in. Let's dip the legs down very slightly and lift. Very tiny. Let's do 3, 2, 1. Grab on underneath the knees, scoop and roll it back. And lifting up and hold. Rolling it back. So really allowing the circulation to continue through your body. And lift it up. 2 more. 1 more. And then drop your feet all the way down. Grab onto your ball. Take it between your shoulder blades. Let's lay it all the way down here. You're going to take a wide stance with your feet. So let's start by just opening up your chest over the ball. Taking a couple deep breaths here. One more. And your hands are going to clasp behind your head and then do a little curl looking up towards your abdominals. So before we begin, do the upper body curl here, and we're going to start to get your lower half into the neutral pelvis, tucking in the pelvis, pulling in the core, pressing it down flat, tucking up through here, pressing it down. Let's do one more. And then finding a neutral pelvis here and hold. You're just going to open up your chest over the ball, do a tiny curl looking up towards your abdominals, opening it up, and curl. Let's do two more. So you're also thinking your heels are pulling into your glutes, trying to turn off your hip flexors, turn off your quads. Let's do one more. Hover here and hold. We're going to extend your right arm past your right knee. Reach it all the way up over your head. You're going to do a nice rainbow shape with this arm, stretching it out. All the way out. Let's do two more. And trying to keep a neutral pelvis. Try to keep your hips even here as well. Using your left arm to support your head. And then we're going to do the opposite side. And then reach it all the way up, keeping the core engaged. Also using your inner thighs and pelvic floor to try to keep your legs squeezing together. It grounds yourself a little bit more into the ground so that you're not wobbling here. It evens out kind of the connection in your core and your inner thighs, treats it very full body. One more. All the way around, we're going to take your right hand out. We're going to do a tiny rotation over to the right. And then come back to center, take your hand behind your head. So we're going to go here, tiny, and back. So we're not necessarily crunching up, we're kind of twisting to the side, and back. And a tiny twist. And let's do two more. And then one more. We're going to hold in this position. You're going to do tiny pulses up with this arm. Tiny, tiny here. And let's do 3, 2, and 1. Take the hand back behind your head. Let's go over to the other side. A nice rotation here. Back to center. We're going to twist, kind of twisting through here. And let's do 3 more. Keeping your hips even. Keeping your hips in neutral. 2 more. A nice rotation. Trying to keep the right hip down also as you're going over to the left. And last one, we're going to go over here and hold. We're going to take this arm up, drop it down, up. Keep the abdominals in, really adding that resistance in that arm. 2 more. 1 more. Take it all the way back here, back to center. Open up your chest. Stretching out through your spine. You can allow your legs to stretch all the way out for a moment here too. And then we're going to roll yourself forward so that the ball ends up underneath your neck. So right in this position. Placing your head on top of the ball. Let's take your arms out into a T. We're going to take one knee at a time into tabletop here. We're just going to stretch through your legs. Let's go all the way out. We're going to kind of continue to build some of this heat and circulation in your body. Really focusing on a neutral pelvis here, focusing on relaxing your neck altogether. We're going to start to bicycle the legs. A nice continuous motion. Really allowing your legs to stretch out, but only working within your range of motion that you can keep that neutral pelvis. And then do the reverse. Really nice movement through here. Continue to do this movement, and then we're going to end up with your knees together. We're going to open up your knees here. I want you to point your toes as you stretch out with the legs, flex and pull it in. So you're going to point, stretch, flex, pull it in. Point, stretch, flex. Keep your breathing going. Think inhale, exhale. Let's do one more. And reverse, you're going to flex your feet out, point the toes, squeeze it in, flex, press it out, point. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. And 1 more. You're going to hover your knees in this diamond position, start to squeeze your knees together, open your knees up. Tiny squeeze and open. Keeping a neutral pelvis. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. And 1 more. And then squeezing the knees together. Let's drop 1 foot at a time here. We can take your knees together and take your feet together. We're going to drop your knees over to the side. I want you to look over towards the opposite side. So my knees are going over to my right. I'm looking over towards my left shoulder. Let's come back to center. Let's go over to the opposite way. Stretching it out. Back to center. Let's take the ball out from behind your head. You can lay your head all the way down. Just allow your body to align one more time, straight through the center here. You can close your eyes and take a couple deep breaths. 1 more. And then we're going to lift up and we're going to do a little bit of this gut massage in a child's pose. So it's very, very intensive on your core. It's very nauseating if this is your first time doing this. So really listen to your body. You can ditch the ball at any time. But you're going to take your knees wide and then you're going to hold the ball into your pelvis here. So it's going to kind of go right into that nice position where sometimes when we lay all the way down, we start to massage the gut in that position laying down. We're going to do this a little bit lifted. Hang on to your ball. You're going to take a deep inhale and you're going to lift your ribs up and over the ball. And I want you to drape yourself over the ball. And then you're going to start to reach your hands out straight and then just allow your body to fold all the way down. So the ball is now going to be hollowing out your stomach, your pelvis. You'll feel a stretch in your back as well. You're going to take a couple deep breaths here. Just relax it all the way down. Let's do 1 more breath. And then we're going to draw yourself in, pull your arms in towards your body. You're going to kind of grab onto the ball. Just take the ball in front of you here. Just reach your hands forward. I want you to go onto your fingertips and drop your head down through here, really shrugging the shoulders up towards your ears. And then pulling them down. Let's do 1 more. And then drawing it in. Let's let your neck be the very last piece. And you can roll your shoulders back. And you are all done. Great job. Beautiful session. I hope you feel so, so good. I feel really good. I hope everybody's feeling great. That was a good 30 minutes. Did some new stuff, did some old stuff. I hope everybody feels really great. Also, with that last little gut massage, it's super intense. Obviously, if you're not pregnant, if you are pregnant, you're not going to want to do any of that type of work after 20 weeks. But if you're not, and you're feeling any sort of gut disconnection or feeling like you need to tap into that area and really listen to what's happening there, you should do some of these moves and breathe through it and allow yourself to kind of like breathe and breathe and breathe and like allow the ball to almost like melt into your body. And then one of the beautiful things about this ball is how functional it is. So there's so many different ways that we can use the ball to really help yourself, and also especially that gut stuff. So it can be very, very irritating to have any gut issues. So this will help out a little bit if you start with this in the morning or after any of these sessions. We'll start to add a little bit more of that also. And yeah, thank you all for joining me. I hope everybody feels so great. And what does the cheeseburgers still show? I don't know what that means, but anyway, this will be live up until tomorrow's class at 10 a.m., which is the 60 minutes. So I will see you then and have a great rest of your day.